Hey everybody, here with chapter 4. We're going to start discussing. We're getting into now that we've gone over the amendments and we've gone over the different political parties. We're going to start getting into how a bill is formed. Okay, so the first part, chapter 4, is we're going to talk about how a bill becomes a law and some of the things that are added in the bills that you may have not known before. First off, there's different things. There's bills and there's resolutions. A resolution would be like, we're going to make October 3rd, General McLean Day, okay, in the county, okay, and that would be a resolution. The resolutions pass. So there's a lot of things recognizing people when it comes to resolutions. A bill is authorizing money, authorizing spending, okay, or some kind of big social issue, all right? So we're going to take it to two different types of bills that usually get passed. Are private bills who deal with individual people or places, as you can see, and a public bill dealing with general matters, deals with the nation as a whole if you're looking on the federal level. All right, two different types of resolutions. A simple resolution covers matters affecting one house of Congress and is passed by that house alone. Okay, and that would recognize a day or a specific event that maybe happened that was, if we're talking about a state, okay, and something like that. And then a joint resolution is one passed in the same form by both houses. So you can talk about two different types of resolutions. When it comes to resolving something. All right, so a resolution that passes in one house could pass a bill. A bill could be passed in one house, and then a bill passed in the Senate. A bill passed in the House, and then the Senate is a joint resolution. One house is a simple resolution. One house passed. Bills and resolutions, earmarks. Earmarks the way that members of Congress can specify that some part of the funding bill will go towards a certain purpose. So they will literally earmark money out of that bill to make sure that it goes to the purpose. So, for instance, they might be giving $2 million to Billings Park down on Lakeside. They're going to earmark that 150,000 of that $2 million goes towards building the playground. That has to go towards building the playground, not the sand of the beach, not towards rebuilding the docks, not towards the ecosystem of the lake, but towards 150 has to go towards the playground. That would be an example of an earmark within a bill. A rider is a provision on a subject other than the one covered in the bill. So, for instance, if there is a bill on Lakeside, there might be a rider attached to that bill that says that we are going to authorize funding for a coffee shop to be put in on Lakeside as well. It has nothing to do with anything, but it's going to ride on that bill. And this is kind of that backdoor way that politicians get what they want if they know a bill is going to pass. It's called attaching a rider to it. They know the bill is going to pass. They know, especially spending bills, they will attach riders to them and see if they can get it passed. Fewer than 10% of all bills introduced in Congress become laws. When we talk about Congress, we're talking about the House and the Senate combined. For several reasons, creating a law is a long, complicated process involving as many as 100 steps. There's a ton of steps involved to a bill becoming a law, as we know. A bill sponsor must be willing to bargain and compromise with others. You have to negotiate to get things passed the way you want them to be passed. And members introduce many bills knowing they have no chance of becoming law, just trying to solidify their way. To introduce a bill in the House, a member drops a bill into the hopper, a box near the clerk's desk. To introduce a bill in the Senate, the presiding officer must first recognize the senator who does it, and then who formally presents the bill to the Senate. When a committee decides to act on the bill, it holds a hearing in which the committee listens to testimony from experts on that bill's subjects, governmental officials, and interest groups that are concerned with the bill. After the hearings are over, the committee meets in a markup session to decide what changes, if any, to make the bill. So, when the bill is introduced, it is introduced into Congress. That bill then goes into a committee session. Committees could be broken up into several different committees. There could be a traffic committee and a tax committee, which is called the House and Ways and Means Committee, okay, which deals with anything that has to do with money. Could be a social committee, okay, that deals with anything that's going to social. Any social aspects within the government. So there's all these different kinds of committees, and senators and House of Reps members sit on these committees. And when a bill comes to them, they look at the bill, they bring experts in, officials in to talk to them about maybe what needs to be changed or what doesn't need to be changed within the bill. And they get expert opinions, and they bring the bill after the committee to the floor of the House if they decide to take it to the floor of the House to introduce it, okay? So there's a lot of things that go into just creating a bill. Experts have to make opinions on it, and they get different people. They have to politic for support to get the vote, over 50% of the vote in the House and in the Senate. So there's a lot of things that go into making bills. When all changes have been made to the bill, the committee then votes. So we're talking about a group of maybe 10 to 12, senators of House of Reps members that sit on a committee. They vote on it to either send it to the House or the Senate for action or kill it. And it could be killed right there in the committee and go back to being proposed again some other time. So it takes a lot. Like I said, less than 10% of them actually get voted on and actually get passed. Because the pros and cons of the bill were argued in committee hearings, only a few lawmakers usually take the part in a floor debate. All right, somebody that might be strictly opposing it might come and debate on it, or strictly be 100% for it. A vote then follows after the debate, whether it's in the House or the Senate. Members can vote in one of three ways: a voice vote, a standing vote, or a division vote. The ayes stand to be counted and the noes stand to be counted. And a roll call vote. Each member says A or nay as names be called in alphabetical order. We do not do that anymore. We do the fourth one, which is the recorded votes. They basically have a big screen up there, and it's all technologically advanced now, and they vote for a lot of bills, okay, and it just genetically puts up the percentage if the bill gets passed or not. To become a law, a bill must then pass both houses of Congress in identical form. And we know from the bill on Capitol Hill, right? If one house will not accept the version passed by the other house, they call a conference committee, okay? So members from the House of Reps and members from the Senate, they get together, they discuss what needs to be changed. If the House doesn't want to change it, then the bill gets squashed there if the Senate won't accept it. But if they can devise some kind of agreement or compromise on different things, from the bill going to the House to the Senate, then the bill will be proposed in the Senate and discussed. If it passes a joint resolution, which is approved in both houses, and the identical bill is approved in both houses, it is then sent either to the governor or to the President of the United States, whether it's a state or federal bill. The President has a couple different things that he can do or she can do. A presidential veto returns the bill to the House where it originated, along with an explanation of why the President vetoed it. The President can also kill a bill by pocket veto, meaning the President refuses to act on a bill passed during the last 10 days of session, effectively killing it. Sits on his desk, he never gets to it, kills it. All right. Congress, once that bill is killed, okay, if he vetoes it through a pocket veto or a presidential veto, that bill then goes back to the House. And we talked about this through the Great Compromise. Then it goes back to that 66%. If the House votes for it, 62/3 of the House votes for it, and it goes to the Senate 2/3, it then effectively skips the President of the United States, and it goes right to the court system to deem it constitutional or not. So we kind of already know that. A line item veto is another type of veto that the President of the United States can't do. Okay, you cannot line item veto certain things within a bill, literally crossing out sections of the bill. Now, some governors can do that when they call a line item veto. In 1998, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the act to be unconstitutional in a 6-3 decision in Clinton v. City of New York. 44 of the 50 state governors do have the ability to line item veto, and Pennsylvania being one of them. So, in essence, Pennsylvania's governor has quite a bit more control than we may know, okay, through line item vetoing. You can take out specific things in the bill and try to pass them through. All right. After a bill becomes law, it is registered with the National Archives and Records Service. You can go to something called Thomas, which kind of registers every bill that's been voted on in the United States of America, obviously named after our third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, as we talked about him. Here's some state representatives and state senators that represent you. Franklin Township, Brad Rowe, who's a Republican. McCain Borough, McCain Township, Bizarro in Washington, and Embro Boroughs, Bizarro, Democrat. State Senate, our state senators in the state of PA, Michelle Brooks, Embro Borough, Washington Township, and Dan Laughlin, McCain Borough Township, Franklin. So we have a Democrat and Republican representing different people here within our classroom. Federal representatives, these people represent everybody. There's 18 House of Reps members in all the state of Pennsylvania and 2 senators. The Senate, federal level, these represent everybody. Bob Casey Jr., who's a Democrat, and Pat Toomey, who's a Republican. House of Representative member who represents everyone is Mike Kelly, the 16th District. He's a Republican. He represents all of us. Okay, so what I want to do here now is, if I can get it up here, is you guys will be going to do some research on all these different people. So find out what district you live in. Here are your choices, and I've given you basically what was at the end of the PowerPoint, copy and pasted, and your state Senate. So pick one House member who represents you and one state Senate member who represents you. Write their names. All right. So if you don't know where you live, let's say you're a tuition student, you can find out who you did, or you can just pick one of these two people here. So pick one. Find out who represents you because we wanted to make it meaningful for us. So you write their name down here. You go up to the PA House Rep member, Brad Rowe or Ryan Bizzaro. You put their name here. You research one of their policies. So you can literally type their name in, go to their governmental website, and you can go, if you go to the scroll thing, it will literally say views or legislation that they've passed in the past or things they believe in, and you can read all about them. Pick one. So maybe you have strong feelings about taxes. So you put how they vote on taxes. Do you agree with this policy or bill? So you kind of put their bill down, how they view it, what they've said, circle your answer, yes or no, and then why you circled yes or no, why you agreed with that view or why you disagreed with that view. A state representative member. Okay, so you go to the state Senate here, so you pick one, Laughlin or Brooks. You put their name down here, and you do the same exact thing for this one. House of Representative Federal, who represents you. So I literally inserted this one for you, so you don't have to do it. Mike Kelly. Do a little research on Mike Kelly. Find a view that Mike Kelly has. Could be on a big view, okay? So things like gay marriage and the military and abortion, okay? And see how he views that. This guy represents you, okay? If you agree with him, yes or no. Bob Casey Jr., Democrat, same thing. Big views. This is a federal one. Represent the country. And then Pat Toomey, last one. I want you guys to start thinking about who represents you and how they represent you. You really can't complain about politics unless you vote, all right? And I hate to say it, but in my mind, people that do not vote or do not know much about who represents them do not have the ability to make effective arguments when it comes to talking about politics. You guys, after you've done this, should know a little more about who represents you. Therefore, you can either vote for that person or vote for somebody against them, okay? It's somebody that you believe, okay, that you want their support with. That is one of the best things that this country has to offer, to be able to be educated, like we said, and who's representing you, and be able to make a vote for that person, whether it be somebody that's a Republican or somebody that's a Democrat. You have the ability to choose, and that is what we fight for in this country. And this is one of our most important things that we hold endearing to us in the United States of America. Okay, so this is a great activity, not only to get points, but to educate yourself on our political system and who represents you around this area, guys. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email through Schoology. Please let me know if you want to talk to me through Teams. I can set up an individual chat. Guys, keep doing your work. This is for you. Like I said, this class is going to benefit you. This project certainly does right here. It's worth 17 points. All right, guys, good luck.